Hi guys, my name is Lawrence Baker. I'm an Adobe certified expert in Photoshop CC and Photoshop Lightroom. This video is going to be about data integrity in Lightroom. Lightroom comes in two parts, your original photographs and your catalogue. The catalogue will never affect your original files. That is what is meant by a non-destructive workflow. The word catalogue is a relevant word here. It just represents stuff you've done to your images, but you haven't actually changed the images. You've got the catalogue, you've got your photographs. Let me start with my photographs. I keep my photographs on an external hard drive. The reason being is that external hard drives are cheaper than internal hard drives. I've got 1 terabyte of storage on my Mac and I've got 4 terabytes of storage on my external hard drive. The external hard drive would be far cheaper than me buying a larger, in storage terms, hard drive for my computer. So that's why I use an external hard drive. And plus, if it fails completely, although I have it backed up, I can just go out and buy another external hard drive. It's easier to do. So for ease of use, I like external storage. How do I back up my external hard drive? Well, I back it up locally with a bit of software called CrashPlan. To another external hard drive, I back up my photographs. Now, if a disaster was to happen to my house, I also have my original photographs backed up off-site online to a company called CrashPlan. They have servers in America somewhere. And the thing about backup, the word backup, should be used only in context of backing up. What do I mean by that? Well, just sticking your stuff on the cloud is not backing up. Backup software does specific things. It automatically backs up at set times, etc. And you can have an overwrite of your data or incremental storage. And incremental storage is the way to go. Because let's say if you've got a virus and you want to go back 2 weeks, hey presto, you've got 2 weeks of data to go back to. So that's what I do. I back up locally and I back up off-site using a company called CrashPlan. CrashPlan does both the local off-site or local backup and the backup online. It's a lot of words there, guys. Offline, online storage. Anyway, what I do with my catalogue is roughly the same, but I keep my catalogue on Google Drive. Now, I had to download the app, the Google Drive app, and you'd have to do the same on a PC or a Mac or whatever, because that would put the folder, a Google Drive folder, on your Mac or PC, where you would then store your catalogue. That catalogue would then be synchronized with Google's servers, so you'd never lose your catalogue. There's some advantages to this. If you work as a photographer that travels around, you would always have access to your catalogue. And if you're using smart previews, now smart previews for another video, but they allow you to edit your photographs without having access to the originals. So you could go around, use your catalogue in a hotel, let's say, and you've got access to the internet, play around with your photographs with smart previews, and when you come to plug your photographs back in, hey presto, everything will work. What smart previews will not allow you to do is export them out of Lightroom. You cannot do anything else outside of Lightroom, exporting it without having the original photographs, smart previews or not. So my catalogue is stored on Google Drive. You have to download the app. Also, you have the choice of backing up your catalogue. Now, I do that by backing up to Dropbox, which is another free cloud service. There's 7 gigs of storage on, or gigabytes of storage on Dropbox and 15 gigabytes of storage on Google Drive, both free. So why wouldn't you use them? So I'm almost bomb-proof, and I've had my Mac fail only 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, and because I use this system, I had no problems whatsoever. My external hard drive didn't fail, so all I did was load up Lightroom, point it to my, I had Google Drive already downloaded, it showed Lightroom where the catalogue was, it wanted to know where my photographs were, they were on a different drive letter, so I just told them they were there, but the structure is exactly the same inside the external hard drive. And hey presto, I was back up and running in 5 minutes. Now, if my house had burnt down, I go and buy a new Mac. My catalogue is still in Google Drive. And my backup is still in Dropbox. And guess what? I can just go to my CrashPlan, go to my online storage and reinstate my photographs. It'll take a while, but it can be done, and I've done it. Let's show you Lightroom and where this storage will affect you. Let's go to Catalogue settings. There's the location of my catalogue. in Google Drive, Lightroom Catalogue. By default, Lightroom puts it in Pictures and then the same route, Lightroom Catalogue. I change it. Now, don't be frightened of moving your catalogue around or renaming it, because Lightroom will always prompt you for it. And if you've renamed it or moved it, just point it to where you've moved it or renamed it. As long as you've got LR-CAT at the end of it, it will be a Lightroom catalogue. Don't be frightened of renaming or moving. If you lose your catalogue, do not panic, especially if you're using the cloud to store your catalogue on. You've always got it. So backup catalogue every time Lightroom exits. I recommend you keep it at that setting, because you won't back up each time. You'll get lazy and forget to back up because you're always prompted. When you're prompted at least once a day for most people, you can just back up 2 or 3 times a week. I'm not too fussy, but I don't want to be reminded once a month and forget to do it and be too tired to do it and lose my catalogue. But as I say, if you're using the cloud for your original catalogue, you shouldn't have any problems. But this is just what we call in the backup world total redundancy. You're not going to lose anything. Right. Under metadata, there's something else here very important. And a lot of people don't understand this because they don't want to read about it. But it's automatically write changes into XMP. XMP stands for Extensible Metadata Platform. It's an Adobe product. And what it allows you to do is keep most of your developed changes and metadata changes inside the original file, either inside the original file or as a sidecar file. Some proprietary RAW formats won't allow this data to be written to it, and it might cause corruption. So Lightroom puts them in a sidecar file, which will always be married to your original file. And of course, just above it is include developed settings in metadata inside JPEG, TIFF, PNG and PSD. So outside of RAW, which Lightroom is really designed for, you can store it into those files as well if you edit them in Lightroom. And don't forget, Lightroom is not just about RAW files. You can import whatever you like as long as it's raster. It won't take vector images, etc. And it won't currently at the moment take Adobe Acrobat files, PDF files, and I wish it did, but never mind. So that's what that's about, and I recommend having those two ticked, because that is almost the best backup system you can have, because whatever happens, you've always got the changes you've made to the original files inside the files themselves. So Lightroom would read that data. It doesn't save everything. I don't think it saves GPS coordinates, etc., but the bulk of it definitely saves. What else can I show you? Under Preferences, yeah, Default Catalogue. When starting up, use this catalogue, and it's the most recent catalogue, and I recommend you keep it on that as well, because prompting when starting Lightroom is a bit pointless. You'll always have to keep pointing to your catalogue. And the other ones are the actual, my 2 catalogues I've got on my PC. One is when I first opened up Lightroom and it automatically created one in Pictures for me, and that's the one I actually used finally, was the one on Google Drive, because this Lightroom version's only been on my Mac. It's a brand new Mac for a week or 2. Load most recent catalogue. Now, as I said, never panic if you lose your catalogue, because it happened to me as I'm new to Lightroom and I didn't really understand it. I lost my catalogue or corrupted it or whatever, and I had backups, and I didn't go to the most recent backup. I just panicked and went to one that was 6 months old. So I lost 6 months worth of edits, and I didn't have the intelligence to go again and find my most recent catalogue and load that up, because that would just overwritten. It would have prompted me and say, do you want to use this catalogue? Yes, I did, but I didn't do it because I was too scared. So don't panic, keep calm, carry on, and just think, well, where have I got my catalogue? Where's my most recent catalogue? Now, if you're using Google Drive or any other cloud service, you've got no problems. Just go and find it. So never panic. Now, your original photographs is entirely up to you. I would never consider not having my original photographs backed up. Now, in the old days, before cloud storage and before lots of external storage became popular, you used to save everything onto CDs or DVDs. I backed up all my stuff. Well, I didn't back it up. I copied my photographs onto DVDs. Guess what? One of the DVDs got corrupted for whatever reason, and I tried even some of the best forensic computer experts in the world, so to speak, to get my photographs back, and I couldn't. I lost them. We live in a new world where there's cloud storage and there's also cheap external storage. So Try and make full use of it. Now, the off-site storage with CrashPlan, I totally recommend. I've had a disaster happen in my house and I've got my photographs back by just going to restore, and online overnight, because the ISPs give you more bandwidth, I got nearly 5,000 photographs back. Large sized photographs. Anyway, guys, I'm waffling now. I hope you got something from this. Thanks very much.